You don't need to film me, by the way, but whatever. I'm going to put it in the bin after, so yeah. So, start off with, first season's under your belt already.
It is.
What did you like best about your characters?
I think the ebb and flow of every character in it is fantastic. The fact that there's no pure dark or pure light character. It's a world of grey, and I think what I liked most about my character, as I do with most characters in the show, is the fact that it oscillates between this good and bad sort of constantly, and so it's been a lot of fun to play.
And for you?
What I love about my characters is that he is conflicted. When he is strong, he is the strongest. I love that he's thoughtful. I love that he is a family man, and he's conflicted by whether or not to have the thoughts he's having. He's a good soldier. He wants to serve Sebastian Monroe and do all that he can to further the Monroe Republic because he believes, he trusts that this is the right side to be on, and that this is the creation of order, and the one place that he wants to be is he wants to be in the way of total anarchy. He knows that's not the way to go. But the fact is, he's conflicted because underneath it, as we've seen in one episode of the first scene, he is basically has good intentions. He's a good man. And when those intentions are crushed and doused, and when 15 years of living in a very, very survival mode, he's become a survivor. And that's changed his attitude and who he is.
It was interesting what you said, actually, because I've written bad guys ... Because I was like, well, the thing is, I've both seen you recently in Scary Things, so I'm a little bit intimidated that you're both together. Because, Breaking Bad, Once Upon a Time, Safe Haven. A little bit scared right now.
Yeah, I'm not drinking today. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'm off it.
But yeah, so the characters do seem to have like dark sides and light sides, and all of them seem to as well. So
yeah, I mean, and that's what's great. I mean, when you look at all the characters, like Miles becomes increasingly darker. Elizabeth's character Rachel is, and you start to see a more legitimate motivation for the darker characters, the two of us coming back in. So it really starts to oscillate between, because everyone's got very clear and what they consider to be reasonable motivation, and that's where the drama comes in, because it's not you're steering away from that mustache twirling villainy, and you're into an area which is actually more emotionally and psychologically complex. So it makes it a little bit more, it makes it much more interesting to play, but hopefully more interesting to watch as well.
I love that our writer, our creator, Eric Kripke, has not written stereotypical characters. He's written real human beings, and I feel blessed to have been a part of this first season in such a strong way, because I can take that a little further, and through my acting skill coupled with the great writing, be able to give a full account of someone who is a human being. No one's just black or white. We all have good days and bad days, and we all have good intentions and sometimes not so good intentions, whether we know it or not. And this show sort of plays upon that real humanity of family and moral and relationship that people want to see.
The kind of political atmosphere of the series, do you think there are any parallels with Hunger Games? Obviously, they've got issues that are similar in a way, kind of trying to control people like politically.
Is it bad that I haven't seen Hunger Games? I'm not qualified to talk about this. Is that bad?
Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
There you go.
I do know the story. I have children who very much wanted to see it, and they loved it. So congratulations to those guys. I think there are similarities. I don't think you've seen it in our show yet, and that's a big teaser. If you've seen the first season of Revolution, we've seen the way we end up at the end. You're just beginning to get an inkling that there has been a political aspect, political leaders who have been non-existent. So our second season is soon to be very, very interesting in bringing those politics into the forefront. Besides our Georgia territory and our Monroe militia, I think you're going to see part of what was the political United States come back to the forefront and be linked to the reason why the power. Don't forget, that there was a government contract, and Ben Matheson and Rachel Matheson were at odds about giving these secrets up to the government. There's a connection there. The tower is a government connection. All these things are going to come out, and I think you're going to be very fascinated. The audience will be very fascinated by the direction in which that goes in season 2.
I was going to say that obviously it's been completed in the States, and I've seen that the next season is going to be on a slightly different time, so slightly earlier, I think.
Right.
Yeah, 8 o'clock,
right.
I think.
Yes.
So do you think that it will have less violence in it?
It's a good question. I don't know. I've asked that myself. Look, the themes are always going to be the same, and we're not going to lose any of the intensity. That's for sure. I mean, and Eric is so good at writing that. I don't know if you'll see, people getting stabbed in the eye or anything at 8 o'clock at night as you're eating your dinner, but certainly the intensity of the storytelling and the acting and the scenes themselves, they're not going to be pulling away from that. Eric's very fervent in that, so I think that it will be more of the good stuff.
And judging from the numbers, to tell you honestly, the numbers don't lie, and they probably run these numbers. And my only numbers that I have are people who come up to me and say, I watched the show with my children, and I'm able to talk about it afterwards. And so where do you get, a family show that deals with such interesting subject matter that is, character-driven, yet action-packed, and has a large amount of science invested in it as well? It's a great combination.
I'm guessing with DVD releases and things like that anyway, people can watch them anytime they like. So that's the kind of beauty of it.
I've heard of people who watch it twice a week.
Yeah.
They watch the show with their kids. They watch it again before the next week comes to remind them over the weekend of what's coming Monday when they tune in all over again. So DVD is great. And it's also, I think Wednesday will allow them to be together. 10 o'clock, my kids go to bed. So I think an 8 o'clock Wednesday night time slot is actually the correct spot for this, because then, and most parents, or some parents, I'm one parent who doesn't allow television during the week at all. So if there's any show that you want to make a concession for, make it Revolution Wednesday night at 8 o'clock.
I love that. Final 2 questions. Obviously, one of the big themes is family, whether they're kind of blood family or a different kind of family in the show. What does family mean to you?
Family is everything to me.
Yeah.
And what I have learned from my family, the family that I have created after healing the family of origin that I'm in, or healing myself surrounding that, because we all have things that we hold on to. I have four girls and a lovely wife-ish who is absolutely fantastic, and we have a family that's very, very close. What I've learned from them is that they're not the only ones who are my family. This is the story of Revolution, that Dave is my family, that Billy is my family, that Tracy's my family. We're in a very particular family because we're actors. So we have an understanding of each other immediately when we meet. If we become comrades, and how do you say comradesses? How the women do comrades? We're all comrades.
I believe
women and men.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we immediately have an understanding and a love for each other that makes us part of a very special group. But what my family's taught me is to listen. And what my family's taught me, and my girls, who the youngest of whom is 9, is to be playful, to never lose that playfulness. Papa, you're an actor. The world is play, and you're supposed to play. And when we get older, we get a little more jaded. We learn how to conform and how to be a part of what is our society, or what it dictates. And some of us might lose a little bit of our playful individuality. And so I'm really grateful to my family for teaching me to be present, teaching me to listen, and allowing me to give up who I think I am, because you're not who you think you are. We all have an idea of who we are, but when you give permission, when I say that, bust me. Look me in the eye. Tell me I'm being passive aggressive. As my eldest girl did a few weeks ago at the Mexican restaurant when they only had catfish tacos and I want tilapia tacos, and we were all there, the whole family, and I passed the menu back and said I don't want anything. And my eldest girl just smiled at me, and she turned and she went, Papa, don't be passive aggressive.
I think it was aggressive.
Yeah, that's really aggressive. Oh, shoot.
I'm a psychologist, but I think that's aggressive.
Oh, okay.
Quickly, that question to David. Because
the question,
family,
family. What does family mean to you?
Right, it is everything. I mean, it's absolutely everything. It's I'm blessed to have a beautiful one. I've been really, really supportive. But it's Giancarlo put it really eloquently in that family is not necessarily blood. It's It's who you draw to yourself and who you are drawn to. And human connection is the essence of why we're here. If you're looking for meaning, find it in someone else, because it's harder to do. And that's what I think. It's harder to do in yourself. So,
why is there strife in the world? Because people are afraid of people who are different than they are. Now we have a world that's much smaller. Now we know what an Asian person looks like, talks like, how we can communicate to them, even if they don't speak perfect English. Now we know how a Hungarian person is. Now we know the strife of their land, their religious strifes in between their own country. Revolution is so about this. You know, why do you think these characters, you know, Miles and Neville, they have a very intimate conversation with knives to each other's throat? How's your wife? How's Julia? Her flowers are still growing. You know, we know each other. He was, you know, Miles and Sebastian, brothers at one point in time. It teaches us to try to think about forgiveness, acceptance, love, and even if you don't like someone, respect.
You are starting to scare me now. Thank you very much. Lovely
Pleasure.
to meet you.
Pleasure to
Thank
meet
you.
you.